Hey guys. So my name is Angel and I want to say welcome to my channel. What you're listening to is the product of a challenge that was put forth by my coach. His name is Steve Hopper. You can follow him on Steve Hopper International. And so the challenge is for 30 days that I create and post a video. At least 2 minutes. I think at least 2 minutes. And it can be as long as I want to. Um, and so today is day 2. So what I've opted to do is read a question and answer it. And I'm doing this, I'm trying to keep it very organic in the moment. So like I'm not doing a lot of preparation, but I've got the question in front of me. And so I actually, instead of just answering it and then only having a record of it on the video, I decided that, well, it looks like now I'm journaling. And that's something that I've never done easily, but today's day 2, and I'm doing it rather easily. This kind of stuff is a lot of fun for me, but outside of fun, I know it's a lot of growth for me. So whoever's watching this, I want you to know that these questions are not just for me to answer. I really want you to answer them too. And so I would like for you to put your answers in the comments below, and I would love for you to grow with me. So today's day 2, and here is today's question. It is, how do I define success and fulfillment? So I'm going to tell you that one stumped me a little bit. I love words, but you think that you know the actual definition of a word until you look it up. So I looked up the actual definition of both success and fulfillment, and it kind of caused me to pause for a minute. So definition of success, is, without going into like a deep dive or anything, which is something that I really like to do, is to reach a certain level of financial stability or professional achievement. Okay. The other one was the accomplishment of an aim or a purpose. Okay. I like that. Definition for the word fulfillment is 1, achievement of something desired, promised, or predicted. Oh, I like that. The second one is the meeting of a requirement or a condition. Okay, that makes sense. And then the third one was realization. It seems like fulfillment and success would be really similar, but there's actually some pretty stark differences about them. So now, having the actual definitions of those 2 words posed in this question, my answer is not a typical one. So number 1, I've had money. And I mean, we weren't wealthy, but we were very well off. This was in a previous relationship, a previous marriage. And when I tell you that I was miserable, it wasn't the money that made me miserable. It was the lack of creativity that I had when I had basically unlimited resources. So I could literally go where I wanted to, when I wanted to, I could do what I wanted. And there was no challenge for me. There was no working towards it. And so even though we had reached a certain level of financial stability and professional achievement because we owned a business and it was doing crazy good, that was not success to me. And life was very chaotic. I was also a lot younger then, and my mindset was in a very different place. And that might have had something to do to it too, to do with it too. So that is not something that motivates me. I've never really been motivated by money. And but what I am motivated by is better. And so as a young mom, that I kind of grew up with my kids. Something that was so important to me, and I told my kids, is don't make my mistakes because I made so many of them and really dumb ones and repetitive. And so, and talking more about that will be, I'm sure it's going to probably come up in these 30 days. But I wanted my kids to be better than me and to be smarter than me and to arrive at those better and smarter places faster than me. Because at 51, I've had a lot of revelations and I'm in such a better place, and my decision making is, oh my gosh, it's so much better. And my heart position is so much better too. And that has everything to do with God. As a matter of fact, all of this does. But my kids are 31 and they're going to be 30 soon. And so they've done those things. So that's such a win for me as a mom. My kids at such a young age are doing better than I was at their age. They're smarter than I was. I mean, I'm a smart person and I can figure things out really quick. But I feel like their emotional intelligence at their age, like, is so much far advanced than me at that age. And the mistakes that they make are their own. They're not repeating mine. And so I feel like that's not just success, like that's a huge win in all capital letters. Win. And so then for fulfillment, and honestly, I could probably use these words rather interchangeably with one another, but this one has a different flavor to it. Fulfillment for me, first of all, the first thing that I think of is Jesus on the cross when he said to Telestai, which means it is finished. And there's so much more deeper meaning to that. He wasn't just saying, I'm done. I've done what I came to do. It was so much more than that. And again, that'll be another video for another time. But to Telestai was the meeting of a requirement or a condition. Jesus's finished work, his fulfilled work on the cross, saved me from from everything, from myself, first of all. And so when you think of the word fulfillment on that level, then it changes the way that you would think about, or at least how I think about fulfillment personally. So the way that fulfillment is working out for me literally today, these days, is me. So great. Coming out of a bad place of comfort and recognizing and embracing truth, and then real change immediately begins to happen. And I'll give you just one example because it's a mind-blowing one for me. Out of the blue, at the beginning of the year, I began to ask God, show me, or actually remove from me, bad theology with good intentions. We were raised, your parents raise you, they rear you, a lot of everybody's backgrounds are similar but different. And for me, there was some very strict, very staunch teachings that were in our church, and that was all I knew. And the truth of the matter is, when I tell people, my Jesus story is, when I came to Jesus, I came running to Jesus, but I wasn't running to him. I didn't want to go to hell. I could tell you whatever you wanted to know about hell at age 6, but I couldn't tell you anything about heaven except that's where Jesus is, and that's where we all want to be. That's where we want to be, right? But I didn't have a clear picture of what heaven looked like. Why would I want to go to heaven? All I knew was that hellfire and brimstone, like, I don't want that. Weeping and gnashing of teeth, and it never stops, ever. 6 years old, I don't want to go there. What that did for me, though, is it kept me out of a lot of trouble. Even though I made some really dumb decisions over my life, it kept me, I never did drugs. I wasn't Like I didn't have addictions like to alcohol, or my addictions were really more to people. But even that, like there was a curb on that enthusiasm too, because I recognize that as a slippery slope. So it served me during my very rebellious years, which was a lot of rebellious years. But when I began to pray and ask God, remove from me bad theology with good intention. And it was like my soul just opened up, and so many beautiful revelations of who God really is, not the picture that was painted for me by the best of intentions, which is pastor didn't want us to go to hell. So he told us all about hell. So we wouldn't want to go there. Good job. Because you can mark that one off. Look, that was a success for you, Brother Robert Clapp. And it served me as far as keeping me out of trouble. But that time is expired for its effectiveness in my life. And so fulfillment for me is coming out of a bad place of comfort and recognizing and embracing the truth, and now experiencing myself in real time change. It's really beautiful and it feels like home. So, what is your definition? How do you define success and fulfillment? And I can't wait to read what you say. See you tomorrow.